Good Tuesday evening. Welcome to a new episode of Martin's Koi Pond and Aquatics, and I'm videoing the pond from somewhere different. I'm actually sat perched on top of the screen matic, and it gives you a lovely view of the pond. And I think from a viewer's point of view, it gives you a better perspective of how big this pond is. Obviously there's people out there with a lot bigger ponds, but I often think my pond doesn't look as big as it is when I video it from over there where I normally sit. And I think that's because I'm further away from the side, and I'm on a lower angle, so you don't get the same perspective. But the water's lovely and clear, and fish are loving life. They desperately want food, but I've toned the feeding down, and I'll tell you why. Getting Tango last week, the orange ogon, was really the last piece of the puzzle that I wanted, and because of that I then sort of thought, do I really want or need these fish to grow at a massive rate of knots? And the answer to that is simply no. I'm quite happy for them to grow steady and, not overdo it. There is a long held thought within fish keeping that nothing good comes if you rush things, and certainly rushing the growth of fish can, I'm not saying it will, but it can reduce the lifespan. There's in carp fishing, the carp fishing guys will know, there's a certain strain of carp in the country that has been bred for rapid growth, and they are renowned for not being long-lived fish. They grow massive, they grow really fast, but they just don't live as long as some of the good old English strains of carp. And I think I've found over the years of keeping fish tanks that, it's best not to rush things and just feed a reasonable amount of food. So the feeder is dishing out all the food. I'm not putting any food in by hand at the minute, and it is dishing out 3 meals a day, and those meals consist at the minute of 3 portions, and a portion is 15 grams. So if you do the maths, it's 135 grams of food is going in every day at the moment, and the fish seem good for it. They don't seem thin. They're a good proportion, and some of them are getting a really nice size. I mean, this Mukashi ogon here, I've had it just over a year, and it's grown by 2/3. It was 1/3 of the size of what it is now, and I've never really put loads of food in. Earlier in the season I was running the feeder on frequent feed mode and I was doing 13 one-portion feeds a day, but my water clarity suffered, and I've gone back to what I was feeding last year, basically exactly the same times: 10 AM, 4 PM and 7 PM, and the same portion sizes, and I've got roughly the same amount of fish that I had this time last year. Obviously some of them have changed. The grass carp surprisingly eat a lot of pellets. I wasn't quite prepared for how greedy they are, but especially the smaller one, Slim. Well, there's both of them there, look. Clunk and Slim. And Slim really, when there's a frenzy going on underneath the spout, Slim's right in there, getting a good old mouthful of food. Another fish that has grown really well without me piling the food in is this Soragoi. I would say that's nearly doubled in size in the couple of months I've had it, and the same for Biscuit the Chag, although he tends to hang around the bottom of the pond. I am kind of looking for him, but I can't see him to show you. He'll be on the bottom somewhere. He's growing really well, and the shop still have some of those chags left, and I notice when I go into the shop, because obviously being a shop, they're not piling the food in because they don't want them to grow massive in their vats, they want them to grow massive in people's ponds. So I do notice that he has well outgrown the fish in the shop that are his brothers and sisters. There he is, Biscuit. So yeah, all in all, very happy with what I did with the pond last week. Definitely can tell the difference in terms of the depth. I'm much more happy, I should say, with the depth of water now. It is maxed out for this particular liner, so the only way I could go deeper would be to buy a new liner, and the price of liners at the moment, I'd rather not have to do that. So anyway, I've waffled on for a bit. I'll catch you in the next clip. Well, good Sunday morning. Welcome back to Martin's Koi Pond and Aquatics, and have a little confession to make. I promised you the possibility of some fishing on this video, and we went fishing yesterday, myself, my eldest son, who's 29, and my nephew, who I think is about 25. And we had a really good day. Caught quite a few carp, and my nephew caught his first ever 20-pounder. Now the confession is, this nugget forgot to do any video of any of it. I've got some stills, but that's not as good as video, is it? I might pop a still or two up at the end of the video. So no video of the lake, no video of the fish, no video of a very happy nephew. But there you go. These things, when you get to my age, you forget things, basically. And it's alarming how much you forget. Right, now the water in the pond, I don't know if you can tell, because this is actually the worst sort of angle for the net. You can see the net the most here. But the water is like gin. I added a second UV, this Yumitsu, and it has made all the difference. Within about 2 to 3 days, it was crystal clear down the bottom again. And I was very happy, to be honest, and it allowed me to see that the raising of the pond walls by a breeze block had made a difference to the depth. Fish do look further down, and I am happy with the depth as it is now. So that was an important thing, to be able to see the bottom. Now, the fish themselves are doing absolutely brilliantly at the minute, touch wood. No shenanigans. I'm going to say no more than that, because I don't want to tempt fate. But yeah, they're doing brilliantly, and really happy with how the pond is going at the moment. So that's a little update on the pond. Sorry about the fishing, and my next little clip will be to do with the fish tanks, I think. Catch you then. Right, so here we have the Scusa Reflections, the fancy goldfish tank, which is a minimal decor tank, so there's nothing in it other than the sponge filters. Its main filtration is a canister filter. Now at the minute I'm refilling it through this hose. I lowered the water level down to about here, so probably talking about a 70% water change, and that's about how much I do every weekend. So they get a really massive water change every weekend. The thing with goldfish is they are very, very messy. They produce a lot of waste, and to keep on top of the water quality and to get the best growth out of them, you need to be doing really big water changes and feeding really good quality food. So I mean, I've not been keeping them that long, and fish like this guy here has more than doubled his size. This little one here, and he bought these two here a couple of weeks ago, and they have grown massively since I got them. So, you know, keeping up a good water change regime is important, because there's another thing with goldfish is they release a inhibiting pheromone that inhibits the growth of their competitors. Now if you've got 8 goldfish in a small fish tank, and they're all producing that hormone, they're not going to grow very fast if you don't do big water changes to get rid of it. So that's another reason for the such massive water changes that I do. Now I like to multitask, so while that one's filling, the Naughty Boys tank is emptying. So, and you can see it's already down below 50%. This has got 3 males in. This male was red and white, but for some reason he's lost all his red and he's now white. There's a red cap Aranda and a black Moor, and these are all males, and I call them the Naughty Boys because if I drop them in this tank, all they do all day long is chase all these, and I think all these are girls. So this is my girls tank, and this is my Naughty Boys tank. Again, they're growing really fast in here because they're getting good quality food. They're getting New Life Spectrum probiotics once a day, and a specialist food for goldfish called Kenta gas, and that's specially made for fancy goldfish, and that stops the build up of gas in their intestinal system. If you feed poor quality foods to fancy goldfish especially, and feed it in bulk, they will become prone to getting buoyancy issues, where they get gas build up in their intestines, and then they can't swim properly. And a lot of people have assumed it was to do with swim bladder, but it's not. They sometimes call it swim bladder disease, but it's actually build up of gas in the intestine, and that food, I don't know how, but it forces it out. So I feed that as a preventative, because none of mine have got swim bladder or intestinal problems. Now this is my single tail goldfish tank, which I know I've got 2 or 3 fans of this tank, and people like to see it. This will be done next, so this one I will do, these are my 50 litre watermarks, and it's 200 litres to there, and I generally drop it to between halfway between there and the bottom. And don't forget, there's another 200 litres in the sump underneath. So this one gets somewhere in the region about 40 to 50% water change, but these guys aren't prone to the intestinal issues that the fancy goldfish are. These generally get flake once a day and the probiotics once a day, so 2 feeds. Both tanks, from all 3 tanks actually, from time to time will get a bit of frozen bloodworm, but I don't like to overfeed that. 1, it's expensive, and 2, it's not good to just feed that all the time. So these guys will be done next, and that's my weekend water change regime. So the 2 little golden tension here are not really growing very fast, so they'll probably be in here a long time before they go into the pond. Anyway, catch you in the next clip.